Assistiu a Nosferatu? Quer saber mais sobre os bastidores do filme? Então vem comigo! Eu conversei com o diretor Robert Eggers e os atores Willem Dafoe, Lily Rose Depp e Nicholas Hoult. Olá pessoal, sejam bem-vindos, sejam bem-vindas. Eu sou o Renato Silveira, do site Cinematório, e hoje você acompanha a entrevista que eu fiz com o diretor Robert Eggers e o elenco do filme Nosferatu, um dos lançamentos do cinema de horror mais aguardados do ano. Nosferatu é dirigido por Robert Eggers, cineasta responsável por A Bruxa, O Farol e O Homem do Norte. Neste novo trabalho, ele faz uma releitura e uma homenagem a um dos grandes filmes de terror de todos os tempos. O Nosferatu de 1922 foi realizado por Friedrich Wilhelm Murnau, como uma adaptação não autorizada do livro Drácula, de Bram Stoker. Antes de retornar às telas nesta nova versão, agora mais de 100 anos depois, o longa já havia ganhado uma refilmagem em 1979, Nosferatu, o Vampiro da Noite, com direção de Werner Herzog. No filme dirigido por Robert Eggers, o ator Bill Skarsgård, mais conhecido por viver o palhaço assassino Pennywise em It, a Coisa, interpreta mais um vilão memorável, o Conde Orlok. Lily Rose Depp e Nicholas Hoult dão vida a Ellen e Thomas Hutter, o casal assombrado pelo antigo vampiro da Transilvânia. E quem os ajuda na cruzada contra essa figura demoníaca é o professor Albin Eberhard von Franz, papel de Willem Dafoe. E aqui vale uma curiosidade: Willem Dafoe também atua em A Sombra do Vampiro, um filme lançado no ano 2000 e que imagina os bastidores da realização do Nosferatu original. Se agora Dafoe vive um herói, já que Von Franz é uma versão do caçador de vampiros Van Helsing, em A Sombra do Vampiro ele interpreta Max Schreck, o ator que fez o papel do Conde Orlok no filme de 1922. Agora eu deixo vocês com a conversa que eu tive com Willem Dafoe e o diretor Robert Eggers sobre esta nova versão de Nosferatu.
It's really a pleasure to talk to you both. Congratulations for the movie, and I'm a huge fan. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Great movie, and Nosferatu is also awesome. So I want to start with Robert. And Ellen's possession scenes are very impressive, as well as the fear Thomas expresses when he first finds Orlok. The dread that Lily Rose and Nicholas give us is very, very real. How was the environment you create on the set, and what direction did you give to the actors to reach that expression of fear?
Well, Lily worked very tirelessly with Marie-Gabrielle Rodi, the choreographer, to do the body work. But also I think Lily is able to just get tuned into that haunted place like really quickly. I don't know. It's something about her makeup, and it was something that like she did in the audition sort of like flawlessly. And I've never really seen anyone who's been able to plug into that place so effortlessly as her, and I think it is a special skill. Nick, I had him watch some Polish art house movies, and at times I employed some techniques that Robert Pattinson did on The Lighthouse to kind of get Nick out of his head. So I would tell him to get dizzy and gag himself and different things like that. But after the first week, he understood, okay, this is where I'm at. Like, this is what's going on. I also called him on the weekend, and I was like texting, we need to talk. And I was calling him to say that like we needed to give him different sideburns, but he thought I was firing him. And I think that also added an extra level of fear.
Oh my
So a
God.
very polite, considerate guy, and I think just as a human being, and it takes a little bit for him to really get selfish with his emotions or to play around with them.
But once he got there, he was just connected, and it was easy for him to also just like plug right in there. It was exciting to see him do that.
Yeah, great. So, Willem, your character, Von Franz, seems to be the only person who understands Ellen's affliction and does not oppress her. How do you see Von Franz's importance for Ellen's journey and her acceptance of her dark destiny?
You know, he's walking her home, basically. I mean, he's acknowledging her position. He's acknowledging the darkness. He's pragmatic. Everything tells him that it's like nature. You have to go with it. You can't resist it. So I think he tries to comfort her, basically, and tries to give her a better sense of where these feelings, where these obsessions, where this attraction, where the scary part of this fits in to the world, her world, our world. And I like the scenes very much. I like the writing in the scenes. They aren't terrifically long. And one scene in particular, it's kind of coded, but I like that fact that he comes to understand her. And he does it for his love and his appreciation of the darkness and the shadow side of so many of these other people are in denial of. And it's really until you recognize that you can come at peace and then try to solve other things like the plague and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And last question for both of you. Despite being quite direct on plot, Eggers' films are also allegorical. So for you, what do Nosferatu represent beyond what's on screen?
I think one of the reasons why I like doing these fairy tales and folk tales and fables and myths and stuff is because they're archetypal, and you can, continue to interpret them in different ways, and different audience members can, walk away with different things. The Oedipus is playing on the West End right now, and it's about to play on the other side of the river in January with another all-star cast, and that's because like these stories always mean something and can always find new and contemporary meanings.
I think anytime you can escape from kind of recognizable psychology or stories that we simply can see, identify, say, oh yeah, that's me. Anytime you can take yourself away, you find a different language to unlock a kind of wonder and a sense of curiosity. And I think these things that are not exactly like everyday life really help. And also it's you can deal with them, you can use cinema language in an extravagant way when you tell these stories, because you're not bound by certain rules of logic.
Thank you so much, guys. Congratulations for the movie. And I hope it be successful on circuit. Thank you.
Thanks.
Além de conversar com o Willem Dafoe e o Robert Eggers, eu tive a oportunidade de falar com a Depp e o Nicholas Hoult. Fiz a eles a mesma pergunta que lancei a Eggers e Dafoe. Se o filme, assim como outros trabalhos de Eggers, dialoga com medos e dramas com os quais nós podemos nos relacionar, o que Nosferatu e os seus personagens representam para eles, além do que está na tela. Confira o que Lily Rose e Nicholas disseram.
I thank you. That was a really thoughtful question. I think so much. I mean, I was very interested to hear. We did a Q&A recently in London, and Rob was talking about how he doesn't make movies with a message in mind, which I thought was very interesting because that's not always the case, and I think it's something very special. He really is interested in, like, you know, the world of it all and in these characters and diving, you know, very like deeply into that, which I think is very cool. But I think it's also, you know, special because it allows for the viewer to really take away what they, you know, to take away a meaning that is very specific to them. And I think for us as actors, it allowed for us to do the same thing, because these characters are so complex and so human, and there are so many layers to them. To me, you know, of course, there is so much darkness in the film that is happening externally, and then there's this kind of this battle against the darkness that all of these characters are fighting. But to me, Ellen is fighting the same battle internally. I think she has, you know, almost a war going on inside of her, and she's fighting kind of this darkness that she carries within her, but also this shame, and also, you know, and also, you know, the society that she's a part of that doesn't have a lot of room for her to be having these struggles, and there's not a lot of support there for her, you know, even though some people might want to help her. So I think, you know, I think there's a lot of different messages that you can take away from it, but I think it speaks a lot to shame and the ways in which we look at ourselves and how much we're willing to accept ourselves, even if we are not perfect, or if there's things that we're not proud of or that people don't understand.
I think that sums it up all perfectly, in terms of, yeah, what Rob was doing by telling the story. And I think with Thomas, there's an element of something that I really enjoyed about the character was this element of a misguided, naive hero in a way, who, you know, he can't, as much as he loves Ellen, he's ill-equipped to understand her and give her the support that she needs. And he's also immature in his sense of what he believes will rectify and bring help to their household and give them the life that he feels they deserve. You know, this promotion and money and the things that people in life, you know, chase. And then often what happens is when people kind of get to the point that they were chasing and aiming to get to, they get there and realize that it hasn't brought the happiness that they felt was going to be entailed with that. So I think that's something. And then also this discovery of darkness for him as well. You know, he's someone, I think, who has never experienced that in life. He hasn't had an easy life. But I think true darkness is something that he hasn't explored in himself or in the world. So it's a coming of age tale in some ways for him.
Thank you so much.
Eu fico por aqui. Se você gostou da entrevista, acompanhe o nosso trabalho aqui e no site cinematório.com.br. Temos conteúdo sobre cinema para todos os gostos. Eu também convido você a vir fazer parte do Cineclube Cinematório. Além de nos ajudar a manter o site e os podcasts no ar, você tem acesso a conteúdo exclusivo produzido só para apoiadores, entre outros benefícios. Acesse cinematório.com.br e junte-se a nós. Um grande abraço, pessoal. Até mais. Tchau.